I found out my husband was cheating on me with my own sister. I exposed them at a family dinner, handed them over to the police, walked away without looking back, and began a new life with my sister's husband. My name is Sarah, I am 32, and I thought I had a normal, happy marriage. For 7 years, I was married to Daniel, who is 35. When we first met in college, he was charming, funny, and made me believe that love could conquer anything. I trusted him more than anyone in this world. At the same time, I was always close to my sister, Emily, who is 30. She and I shared clothes, secrets, and childhood memories. She was supposed to be my best friend forever. But life has a cruel way of revealing truths that you never want to see. It all started on a normal evening. I needed to finish some office work, and my laptop was dead. Daniel's laptop was on the table, so I used it. While searching for a file, I saw a hidden folder. Out of curiosity, I opened it, thinking it might be something random. What I found instead shattered my whole world. There were pictures of Daniel and Emily together, messages full of desire, and even videos that left me feeling sick. It wasn't just a small mistake or a drunken moment. This was a full affair between my husband and my sister. I remember sitting there, my hands shaking, my eyes filling with tears that wouldn't stop. I kept whispering to myself, "No, this can't be real." My chest felt tight, and my world collapsed in a second. The man I loved and the sister I trusted had both stabbed me in the back. I felt like the floor was pulled out from under me, and I was falling with no end. That whole night, I did not sleep. I just kept thinking about every moment with Daniel and Emily, wondering how long they had been laughing at me behind my back. But by morning, my tears had dried up. I realized that if I stayed silent, they would continue to live as if nothing happened. I decided I would not let them hide. They needed to be exposed, and everyone needed to know what they had done. So, I came up with a plan. I gathered every message, every proof of their affair, and I waited. A family dinner was coming up that weekend. That would be the perfect place. The day of the dinner, I walked in calmly. Everyone was there, my parents, cousins, aunts, Emily, and of course Daniel. They were sitting together, smiling, acting like they were perfect people. My heart burned watching them pretend. I sat quietly through dinner, my hands trembling under the table, but I kept a cold smile on my face. When the plates were cleared, I stood up, took a deep breath, and placed a file on the table. Inside were the screenshots, pictures, and proof of their affair. The room went silent. My father's face turned red with anger. My mother covered her mouth in shock. Emily tried to say something, but her voice shook. Daniel looked like he wanted to disappear. I looked directly at them and said, "Here is the truth. My husband and my own sister betrayed me." Gasps filled the room. People whispered. Nobody could believe what they were seeing. And then, to everyone's shock, 2 police officers walked in. I had already reported them for financial fraud they had been doing behind my back. Daniel had used my accounts without permission, and Emily helped him. The officers put them both in handcuffs, right there at the dinner table. Emily started crying. Daniel tried to argue, but it was useless. They were taken away, and everyone just stared in silence. I felt a strange peace in my heart. That night, I walked away. I did not look back at their faces. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. After the betrayal, life was not easy. I had days when I felt empty and nights when I couldn't stop crying. But my parents supported me, my friends reminded me that I deserved better, and slowly I learned to breathe again. During this time, I spoke to Emily's husband, Michael, who is 34. He had been hurt just like me. He too discovered that his wife, Emily, had destroyed their marriage with lies and secrets. At first, our conversations were just about pain. We shared stories of how we found out, how it felt to be cheated on by the people closest to us. He understood my anger without me having to explain, and I understood his broken heart without him saying a word. Slowly, that shared pain turned into friendship. He would call to check on me, I would cook dinner for him sometimes, and we realized that we were helping each other heal. One evening, we sat in the park watching the sunset. Michael looked at me and said softly, "Sarah, We were both betrayed, but I think life wanted us to find each other. You deserve someone who will respect you, love you, and never hurt you again. For the first time in months, I felt my heart warm again. His words touched me deeply. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Our bond grew stronger, and slowly we fell in love. It wasn't a fast, reckless love like I had with Daniel. It was a gentle, steady love that felt safe and real. Michael made me laugh again. He made me believe that not all men were like Daniel. He showed me what it meant to be truly valued. Now, I am living a new life with Michael. We built a home together where trust is the foundation and respect is the rule. We don't hide secrets, we don't play games. We support each other in everything. Sometimes I look back at Daniel and Emily, and I feel nothing but relief that they are out of my life. They tried to destroy me, but in the end, they destroyed themselves. And the best part? I didn't just survive that betrayal. I won. I exposed them. I watched them face the consequences, and I walked away to start a new life with a man who showed me what true love really feels like. Today, I am happy, free, and stronger than ever before. As time passed, the memories of Daniel and Emily began to fade into the background of my life. I no longer woke up in the middle of the night crying or wondering what I did wrong. I realized that their betrayal was not a reflection of my worth, but of their own weakness and greed. For so long, I had carried the weight of their lies on my shoulders, thinking I wasn't enough. But with Michael beside me, I finally understood that I was always enough. They were the ones who were empty, and that is why they chose to destroy instead of build. Michael and I started to create new memories together. We took small trips to the countryside, cooked meals at home, and laughed about silly things like teenagers and love. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had to compete for someone's attention or beg to be seen. He looked at me like I was his whole world, and that feeling healed parts of me that I thought were broken forever. When he held my hand, I felt safe. When he spoke about the future, I knew he meant every word. It was a kind of love that did not need grand gestures or big promises. It was steady, quiet, and real. Every now and then, news about Daniel and Emily would reach me through family or friends. I heard that their lives had fallen apart completely. Daniel lost his job after the fraud charges, and Emily could not show her face in the community without people whispering about her choices. They tried to reach out to me a few times, but I never responded. They had made their choices, and they could live with the consequences. I was done giving them any space in my life. One evening, as Michael and I sat on the balcony watching the stars, he said something that stuck with me forever. He said, "Sometimes life has to break us completely before it gives us what we deserve. Maybe we had to walk through the fire to finally find each other." His words made me smile because they were true. The pain I went through felt endless at the time, but it led me to a man who showed me what love and partnership really mean. Now, when I look at my life, I see strength instead of weakness. I see growth instead of pain. I see a future that is bright instead of a past that is dark. I am no longer the woman who sat crying over betrayal. I am the woman who stood up, exposed the truth, walked away, and built a new life that is full of peace and love. Daniel and Emily thought they could break me, but instead, they created a stronger version of me. They are just a chapter that has ended, while my story continues to be written in happiness and freedom. And with Michael by my side, I know that I am finally exactly where I am supposed to be.